Welcome back to Grimface Financial, where we strip away the lies, expose the traps, and arm you with the tools to break free, financially and mentally. To our returning viewers, thank you for standing with us. You already know what we're about. You're part of the Grimface movement, a movement built for those who refuse to settle, who reject mediocrity, and who are ready to take control of their destiny. And if you're new here, this is your wake-up call. This isn't just another financial channel. This is a revolution for the black sheep, the outsiders, the ones who dare to step out of the system and forge their own path. If that's you, hit that subscribe button and join the movement. Today, we're diving into one of the most dangerous challenges on the road to financial freedom: the temptations that come at every new level of success. Because the higher you climb, the harder the world tries to pull you back down. We'll break it all down: the lifestyle traps, the debt pitfalls, the false comforts that derail even the strongest. And more importantly, we'll show you how to stay disciplined, focused, and in control. So stick around, because this isn't just about money. It's about freedom. And freedom isn't given, it's taken. Welcome to the Grimface movement. Let's get to work. Lesson 1. Setting your financial vision. Do you feel it? The weight of time pressing down on you? It doesn't stop. It doesn't care. Every second is a silent demand. What are you doing with me? Most people waste it. They chase shiny distractions, feeding a system that thrives on their ignorance. They live paycheck to paycheck, drowning in the illusion that this is normal. But you see through the lie, don't you? That's why you're here. Listen carefully. If you want freedom, the real kind, it starts with a vision. Not some vague dream, not some hollow wish. A vision so sharp it cuts through every excuse. Can you picture it? Can you feel it? The life where you own your time, where your choices aren't bound by someone else's paycheck? That's freedom. And it doesn't come cheap. The truth is ugly. The system doesn't want you free. It wants you hooked on debt, on useless things, on fleeting pleasures that keep you blind. But you have a choice. You can stay a cog in their machine, or you can break it piece by piece. But first, you need to see the path. What do you want? No, really. What do you want? Not what they told you to want. Not the car, not the mansion, not the fake applause. Strip it down. What do you want your life to mean? Because without that, you're just drifting. And drifters, they don't make it. This vision, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's going to demand everything from you. Your time, your comfort, your pride. But here's the deal. If you're not willing to sacrifice today, don't expect anything tomorrow. Write it down. Every detail. The life you're fighting for. How much you need to save. What skills you need to master. What habits you need to destroy. This isn't a game. This is your future. And every day you delay is another day the system tightens its grip. The temptations will come. New money will whisper, "Spend me." Comfort will beg you to stop. But those who win, they're the ones who ignore the noise, who keep their heads down while the world tries to pull them back into the pit. So, what's it going to be? Another day wasted? Another excuse added to the pile? Or do you take the first step? No one's coming to save you. No one's handing you the life you want. It's on you. All of it. Tick, tock. That's the sound of your time running out. You can't get it back, but you can choose how you spend what's left. Stop dreaming. Start building. Your vision is waiting. Lesson 2. Battling instant gratification. Let's talk about the enemy. It's not the system. It's not your boss. It's not even the world around you. The real enemy? It's you. More specifically, It's the version of you that craves comfort, that chases instant gratification, that whispers, "You deserve it." Let me ask you something. What's a moment of pleasure worth if it costs you a lifetime of freedom? That new gadget, that overpriced coffee, that weekend splurge. It feels good for a second, doesn't it? But look closer. What's the real price? Because every time you give in, every time you choose the quick fix, you're trading away your future. This is where most people fail. They think discipline is a punishment. They think sacrifice is suffering. But discipline isn't pain. It's power. Sacrifice isn't loss. It's leverage. Every time you say no to the short term, you're saying yes to something bigger, something better. But only if you've got the guts to do it. Look around you. Instant gratification is everywhere. Ads, apps, influencers, all of them screaming at you to spend, to indulge, to take the easy way out. And most people listen. They spend their lives in a loop, chasing highs that leave them empty. But you're not like them, are you? Here's the deal. If you want to escape, you've got to learn to starve the urge. That voice in your head telling you to treat yourself, kill it. That impulse to spend on things that don't matter, crush it. Because every time you resist, every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you're breaking free from the chains that hold everyone else down. You think it's hard to say no? Try saying yes to regret. Try living with the weight of knowing you could have done more but didn't, because you couldn't control yourself. So here's what you're going to do. Next time you're tempted, ask yourself, does this serve my vision? If it doesn't, walk away. No hesitation, no excuses. And if you slip, own it. Learn from it. Get back up and keep moving. Because every choice you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. Are you building a future of freedom? Or are you selling it off piece by piece for momentary comfort? The world doesn't care if you win or lose. It's on you to decide. Sacrifice today. Live free tomorrow. Or keep chasing the quick fix and watch your dreams burn. The clock's still ticking. What's it going to be? Lesson 3. Peer pressure and social comparison. Do you feel it? That pressure? It's not just in your head. It's all around you. People watching, judging, whispering. They want you to keep up. They want you to prove you belong. But here's the brutal truth. Most of them don't matter, and none of them are paying your bills. Peer pressure. It's the silent killer of dreams. It's subtle, but it's deadly. A fancy dinner here, a designer label there, a new car you don't need. It's not about what you want. It's about showing the world you've made it. But let me ask you this. Who are you trying to impress? And more importantly, why? Most people would rather go broke trying to look rich than sacrifice to become rich. They'll drown themselves in debt for a fleeting moment of validation. And what do they get in return? Applause. Likes. A few envious glances. None of it will matter when the bills come due. The system is rigged to make you compare, to make you feel small unless you're spending, upgrading, showing off. But you don't have to play their game. You're smarter than that. You know better. Let me tell you how you win. You stop caring about their approval. You stop trying to keep up. You set your own pace, follow your own rules. Because when you're focused on your vision, on your future, what they think becomes irrelevant. Understand this. The people pressuring you now, they're not going to be there when you're struggling. They're not going to save you when you're broke. They're not going to hand you your freedom. So why let their opinions dictate your choices? Here's the hard part. Walking away. Saying no when everyone else says yes. Letting them call you cheap, boring, or too serious. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Because while they're busy chasing validation, you'll be building something real. Ask yourself, would you rather impress them today or inspire them tomorrow? Because that's the choice. Sacrifice the spotlight now, and one day, you'll own the stage. But if you give in, if you let their opinions control you, you'll wake up one day and realize you've been living their life, not yours. So what's it going to be? Their approval or your freedom? You can't have both. Remember, the ones who mock you now will envy you later. The ones who judge you now will ask you for advice later, but only if you have the discipline to ignore them and stay the course. Let them talk. Let them watch. Let them wait. You've got bigger things to do. The clock's still ticking. Make your move. Lesson 4. The debt trap. Debt. It's a leash around your neck, a chain on your freedom. They call it leverage, credit, even opportunity. But let's call it what it really is: control. Every dollar you owe is a piece of your life you've sold to someone else. They tell you it's normal. They tell you it's necessary. A little debt here, a little debt there. What's the harm? But what they won't tell you is this: debt doesn't just cost you money. It costs you peace. It costs you freedom. It costs you time. And time is the one thing you don't get back. You've heard the pitch: good debt versus bad debt. They'll say, this loan will help you grow. Maybe. But most of the time, it just helps them grow richer while you stay trapped. It's a trap disguised as opportunity, baited with the promise of a better life. But let me ask you, how much of your life are you willing to trade for things you don't own? How much of your future will you mortgage for a fleeting moment of satisfaction? Debt is a seductive poison. At first it feels harmless, even helpful. A shiny car, a bigger house, a new gadget. It all seems worth it. Until the bills pile up. Until the interest compounds. Until you realize you're working not to live, but to pay for the life you can't afford. But here's the thing. You don't have to take the bait. You don't have to play their game. You don't have to carry the weight they want to put on your shoulders. The path to freedom is simple, but it's not easy. You need to face the truth. You don't need most of what they're selling. You don't need the latest upgrade, the fanciest gadgets, or the trendiest brands. What you need is discipline. What you need is clarity. Here's the rule. If you can't pay for it without going into debt, you can't afford it. Period. No excuses. No justifications. Live below your means now so you can live without limits later. And if you're already in the trap, it's time to fight your way out. Make a plan. Cut the excess. Sacrifice the luxuries. Attack that debt like it's an enemy, because that's exactly what it is. And don't stop until every last chain is broken. This won't be easy. The world will tempt you at every turn. They'll call you cheap, boring, or even crazy. Let them. Because while they're drowning in debt, you'll be rising above it. Debt is a choice. Freedom is a choice. Which one are you making? The clock's still ticking. Every second you wait, the chains grow tighter. So decide, are you going to let debt own you? Or are you ready to own your life? The time to fight back is now. Lesson 5. Avoiding complacency. So, you've made it. You're comfortable now, right? The bills are paid. The fridge is full. Maybe there's even a little extra left over at the end of the month. And now, you think the hard part is over. You think you've earned the right to relax. Wrong. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It creeps in, wraps around you like a warm blanket, and whispers, "You've done enough. You can rest now." But let me tell you something. Comfort is the enemy. It's the graveyard where potential goes to die. The moment you stop pushing, you start slipping. Complacency is a slow poison. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's subtle. It tells you to settle for good enough. It convinces you to trade your hunger for mediocrity. And before you know it, you've plateaued, stuck in the same place while the world passes you by. Let me ask you, is this it? Is this where your story ends? Are you really okay with just surviving when you could be thriving? Here's the truth. The climb never ends. There is no finish line. You don't get to rest because you hit some arbitrary milestone. Because the moment you stop reaching higher, you start falling back. Think about the greats, the ones who truly made it. They didn't stop when they got comfortable. They didn't stop when the bank account was full. They didn't stop when the world told them they'd won. They kept going because they knew that the moment you rest on your laurels is the moment someone hungrier takes your place. You have to stay hungry. You have to stay relentless. You have to look at your comfort zone and burn it to the ground. Here's how you do it. Never stop learning. Never stop improving. Never let yourself believe that you've arrived. Wake up every day and ask yourself, what's next? What more can I do? How can I grow? The world doesn't reward those who stand still. It rewards those who keep moving, who keep fighting, who refuse to settle for good enough. So what's it going to be? Will you sink into the false safety of complacency? Or will you rise above it, constantly striving for more? The choice is yours. But remember this, comfort is temporary. Regret is forever. The clock's still ticking. Don't waste it standing still. Keep climbing. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. The best version of you is still waiting. Lesson 6, managing sudden windfalls. So you finally caught a break. A big bonus, a fat paycheck, maybe even a windfall you didn't see coming. Feels good, doesn't it? For a moment, it feels like you've won. But let me warn you, this is where most people lose. Sudden money isn't a blessing. It's a test of discipline, a test of character, a test of whether you can hold on to it, or if you'll let it slip through your fingers like sand. The world is waiting for you to fail this test. They want you to blow it, to buy the flashy car, the bigger house, the luxury vacations, to spend like there's no tomorrow. Because when you're broke again, they win. But you're not like them, are you? You didn't come this far to go right back to where you started. Here's the truth. Money doesn't make you rich. Habits do. Discipline does. You can't spend your way to wealth, no matter how big the windfall. And if you think this sudden boost means you can loosen up, you're already in trouble. Let me ask you, what's your plan? Because if you don't have one, the money will be gone before you know it. A windfall is like a storm. It's powerful, but if you don't control it, it'll destroy everything in its path. This is what you do. First, stop. Don't touch it. Don't spend it. Don't even think about spending it. Let it sit. Let the rush wear off. The worst decisions are made in the heat of the moment. Second, remember your vision. What's the goal? What's the life you're building? If the answer isn't clear, this money will only distract you. Align every dollar with your purpose. Invest it. Save it. Make it work for you. Third, resist the urge to flex. Don't announce it. Don't show it off. The ones who need to prove they have money are usually the ones who lose it fastest. Stay quiet. Stay focused. Let your success speak when the time is right. Because here's the harsh truth. Most people who come into sudden money end up worse off than before. Why? Because they didn't earn the discipline to keep it. They let greed and impulse take over. But you're smarter than that. You know that this isn't just money. It's a tool, a weapon, a stepping stone to your future. So what's it going to be? Will you let this windfall control you, or will you control it? Will you let it pull you backward, or will you use it to catapult yourself forward? The clock's still ticking. Don't waste this moment. Prove you can handle it. Prove you deserve more. Prove that you're not just chasing wealth, you're building freedom. The storm is here. Now, show the world you know how to harness it. Lesson 7. Navigating bigger risks. So, you've made it this far. You're climbing higher, and now the stakes are bigger. The opportunities look shinier. The risks feel heavier, and everyone's telling you, go all in. But let me ask you something. Are you ready for what's on the line? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. The higher you climb, the harder you can fall. At this level, mistakes don't just hurt, they cripple. One bad move, and you can lose everything you've built. This isn't the time for blind ambition. This is the time for precision, for control, for strategy. The temptation is real. The deal that sounds too good to pass up. The investment that promises a quick fortune. The shortcut that promises success without the grind. But let me tell you something. Shortcuts are traps. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Risk is part of the game, but reckless risk is how you lose the game. You don't bet the house to buy a bigger one. You don't gamble everything on the hope that luck will be on your side. Luck is for the weak. Calculated moves. That's how the strong win. So how do you navigate these bigger risks? Simple. You don't let emotion drive the wheel. Greed and fear are the twin killers of progress. Greed will make you overreach. Fear will paralyze you. Both will destroy you if you let them. Here's what you do instead. First, assess. What's the worst that can happen? Can you survive it? If the answer is no, walk away. No opportunity is worth risking your foundation. Second, plan. Don't jump into anything without understanding the game. Do the work. Study the angles. Know the risks better than anyone else at the table. Third, diversify. Never put all your eggs in one basket. If one move fails, the others will keep you standing. It's not about avoiding risk. It's about spreading it. And finally, stay grounded. Success has a funny way of making people forget where they came from. Don't let your ego blind you. Don't let the hunger for more cloud your judgment. The higher you climb, the more tempting it becomes to chase the big win. But remember this, success isn't built on one big win. It's built on 1,000 smart decisions. It's built on patience, discipline, and the willingness to say no when everyone else is saying yes. So, what's it going to be? Will you risk it all on a gamble, or will you play the long game? Will you chase the flash, or will you build something unshakable? The clock's still ticking. Every second you waste is a second closer to losing it all. Make the smart move. Stay in control. Prove that you can handle the pressure, that you deserve to stay at the top. This isn't about luck. This is about mastery. The risks are bigger now, but so are the rewards, if you're willing to earn them. Lesson 8. Resisting the power of excess. So now you've tasted success. The bank account looks good. The hard work is paying off. And for the first time, you feel like you've got breathing room. But let me warn you, this is where most people fall. Excess. It's a seductive poison. The more you have, the more it whispers, take more. You've earned it. And before you know it, you're drowning in your own indulgence. You think the struggle ends with success? No. That's where the real battle begins. Because the world doesn't test you when you're broke. It tests you when you have options. It tests you when the temptation to overindulge is staring you in the face. A bigger house, a faster car, the best of everything. It feels good, doesn't it? But here's the truth. They don't tell you the price. It's not just the money. It's your focus, your discipline, your edge, the very things that got you here in the first place. Ask yourself, what's the point of success if you let it control you? What's the point of winning if you lose yourself in the process? The secret to staying free is this. Remember why you started. Remember the struggle, the sacrifices, the late nights, the moments you wanted to quit, but didn't. That hunger, that fire, that's what built you. Don't let success extinguish it. Here's how you resist the pull of excess. First, live like you're still climbing. Just because you have more doesn't mean you need to spend more. Keep your lifestyle lean. Keep your priorities sharp. Second, focus on legacy, not luxury. What are you building that will outlast you? What impact will your success have beyond your own life? Excess doesn't build legacies. Discipline does. Third, stay grounded. Success can make you forget where you came from. Don't let it. Visit the places that shaped you. Remember the people who helped you. Keep your feet firmly on the ground, no matter how high you climb. And finally, remember this. The world will always try to sell you the lie that more is better. More wealth, more possessions, more distractions. But real wealth isn't measured by what you have. It's measured by what you keep. Your time, your freedom, your purpose. So what's it going to be? Will you let excess consume you, or will you stay sharp? Will you let success weaken your resolve, or will you use it as fuel to climb even higher? The clock's still ticking. Every second you waste chasing excess is a second stolen from your legacy. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and prove that success doesn't own you. You own it. This isn't just about winning. It's about staying undefeated. Lesson 9, staying grounded in the legacy phase. So, you've done it. You've climbed higher than most people ever dream. The money, the success, the influence, it's all there. But let me ask you this. Does it mean anything if you lose yourself at the top? This is where the real challenge begins. When you've reached the summit, it's easy to forget what brought you here. It's easy to let the noise of your own success drown out the voice of your purpose. The world will tell you you've made it, that you can finally relax, indulge, enjoy. But success is a slippery slope. One wrong step, one moment of arrogance, and it all comes crashing down. Legacy isn't built on what you've earned. It's built on what you've kept, what you've given, what you've created that outlasts you. Let me tell you something most people won't. The higher you climb, the harder it is to stay grounded. Success has a way of isolating you, of pulling you away from your roots. But here's the truth. If you forget where you came from, you'll lose sight of where you're going. So what does staying grounded look like? It starts with humility. You didn't get here alone. The struggles, the lessons, the people who shaped you, they're part of your story. Don't rewrite it just because you found success. Next, it's about service. Legacy isn't about what you take. It's about what you give back. Who are you lifting up? Who are you helping climb the ladder? If your success doesn't make the world better, it's empty. And finally, it's about discipline. Success doesn't mean you get to stop grinding. The moment you get complacent, the moment you let your guard down, it's over. The same hunger that drove you to the top is the same hunger that will keep you there. You've seen it happen. People who had it all, only to lose it because they forgot the basics. They let their ego take over. They let greed cloud their judgment. They let success destroy them. Don't be one of them. Remember why you started. Remember who you were before the world knew your name. Keep your vision sharp, your purpose clear, and your feet firmly on the ground. So what's it going to be? let success define you, or will you define success on your terms? Will you leave behind a trail of excess and regret, or a legacy that stands the test of time? The clock's still ticking. Every second is a chance to solidify your legacy, or let it crumble. Stay grounded, stay focused, and prove that true greatness isn't about reaching the top. It's about staying there with purpose. This isn't just the end of the journey. It's the beginning of what you leave behind. Make it count. Lesson 10. Freedom as a way of life. So, here you are. You've fought the battles, made the sacrifices, and conquered the temptations. But let me tell you something. Freedom isn't a destination. It's not a finish line. It's a way of life. And the moment you forget, that is the moment you risk losing it all. Most people think freedom is something you achieve and then hold on to forever. They're wrong. Freedom demands constant effort, constant vigilance, constant discipline. It's not given. It's earned every single day. You've seen the traps. You've dodged them, fought through them, and risen above them. But the game isn't over. The world will never stop trying to pull you back in. The system will always be there, tempting you with ease, with excess, with comfort. Freedom means rejecting that. It means staying sharp, staying hungry, staying disciplined. Even now, especially now. Let me ask you, what does freedom really mean to you? Is it just money, time, security, or is it something deeper, something unshakable? Because true freedom isn't just about what you have. It's about who you've become. Freedom is the power to say no to temptation, to distractions, to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. It's the strength to stay disciplined when no one's watching, to stay relentless when everyone else has given up. But it's not just about you. Freedom carries responsibility. Responsibility to the people who look up to you, to the ones still fighting their battles, to the ones who see your journey and believe they can do it too. So, what's your legacy? How will you use your freedom? Will you squander it, chasing comfort? Or will you use it to build something greater? Will you let it end with you? Or will you pass it on, show others the way, and make your life a blueprint for something bigger? Here's the brutal truth. Freedom isn't for everyone. Most people will choose the easy road. They'll choose the chains because they're too afraid of the weight that comes with breaking them. But you're not most people, are you? You've already proven you can fight. You've already proven you can sacrifice. Now prove you can live free, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. The clock's still ticking, but now it's ticking for a different reason. Not to remind you of what you need to do, but to remind you of what you've earned. Live free, stay free, and never stop proving to yourself and the world that freedom isn't just a goal. It's a way of life. This is your story. Make sure it's one worth telling. You made it to the end, but the journey doesn't stop here. The lessons we cover aren't just ideas. They're weapons. Weapons to fight the temptations, the traps, and the distractions that keep most people stuck. If this hit home for you, if you're ready to take control of your finances and your future, then subscribe and join the Grimface movement. This isn't just a channel. It's a community of people who refuse to be slaves to the system. And don't stop here. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the world isn't going to hand you freedom. You have to take it. Remember, every decision you make is either pulling you closer to freedom or pushing you further into the trap. Stay disciplined, stay sharp, and never stop climbing. This is Grimface Financial. Until next time, keep your vision locked, your mind sharp, and your actions relentless. Freedom is yours, if you're willing to fight for it.